3, 2, 1. Okay, so this technique is going to be a stretch, a mobilizing stretch that we're going to build on, where we're going to use a wall. So in the very beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up where when my hip is immediately over this knee is behind my heel. I'm going to make sure that my hips are square, facing the wall, and that they're tucked, that I'm not doing this, dumping into my lower back. So I'm going to put my hands on the wall, I'm going to tuck my pelvis, and what I'm going to do is push with the back foot into the ground to drive this knee forward while simultaneously pulling. So push, push, pull, tuck. So it looks like this. And when I get here, if my elbows are straight and everything's in the right alignment, I'm going to get to about a 50% maximum contraction. So I'm not going to be pushing and pulling and tucking as hard as I can. I want to be at about 50%. I'm going to feel the stretch in the front here. And I'm going to try to flex this glute to keep my hips square. And I'm going to hold that while I breathe. Pulling. So I have to keep all this together at the same time. It's an active contraction. Good. We're going to hold this for 90 seconds if we can. And over time, you're going to feel that you can move this hip further forward. What you don't want to do is dump into your lower back. So if you lose your position, back out of it, tuck your pelvis, engage your abs, and then once you're in position, flex the glute and hold that. And this is going to help to open up the hip flexors in front, but also the pulling action and the pushing action is going to help to reorient the hips. You're doing great. We've got about 20 seconds. I know this one's hard to keep all the pieces together. You will get better at it with time. And the more you understand it. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back out of it. And then I'm going to match my knees. Bring the other foot up. Again, my knee is behind my heel when this is in alignment. I'm going to rock into it by pushing into my back foot, keeping everything tucked and tight. Pull, push, and squeeze. And breathe. That's the other big one. Breathe. But notice that I'm not arching. It's all drive from the hips. Forward. Pulling with the heel, pushing with the back foot, squeezing the glute. You may find that it's tiring to hold your muscles like this. That's because it is. And we're going to build on that over time. So if you can't do 90 seconds right off the bat, don't. Do 3 sets of 30 seconds. We can make adjustments. It's just in the end, it needs to equal 90 seconds. That's all. 30 seconds. We're doing great. Holding it all together. You're going to feel this in a whole bunch of deep places you never knew you had. If, for example, you can't get the stretch, then move the knee further back. You need the wall to make sure that the hips and the shoulders are square. And you'll see why as we move along as we progress in this stretch. Good. All right, now what we're going to do is add the next piece. And in this case, the next piece is exactly the same with one small change. I'm going to change the position of my hands. So I'm going to get set in position here. I'm going to push, pull, rotate, all that stuff. But now I'm going to turn, my fingers are going to point at each other. My head is going to try to stay as straight as it can. And I'm going to have a high side and a low side. And there's a slight side bend that's occurring with everything else. And I'm going to feel this, obviously, up through my side. So we're going to do this one for a minute. You just follow along with me. Again, squeezing as much as I can, pulling with the front foot, pushing with the back foot, keeping my head square, and trying to open my ribs. So open this side. So I'm going to breathe into that. I'm not arching. I'm tucking my pelvis and side bending. My fingers point in so that my forearms and my arms are getting their own kind of stretching as well. You may find that this is hard for your hands. That is kind of by design. You may also find that you're getting very warm doing this. Also by design. When your body temperature goes up, you are more pliable and more likely to adapt in elasticity. All right, we're going to come out of that. Switch sides. Again, short side is with the front leg, long side is with the back leg. So, driving, squaring the hips, pulling, pushing, squeezing, and arms are as locked as I can get them. Holding all of that together for a minute. Trying to make sure I don't let this hip dump back. Really drive the back hip forward. We've got 30 seconds. And if you need to, you can walk your hands over a little bit too. But basically our position is like, I would say it's like a 2 and an 8 on a clock. This one's the 2, this one's the 8. Good. All right. Now we're going to switch, and for the last movement, we don't need a timer. We're going to do it for repetitions. We're going to set all of this up exactly the way we just had it. And what I'm going to do now is lock, 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 push, squeeze, pull, straight arm press. I'm going to reach back and open. 1, 2, and I'm following it with my eyes. 3, so all this is still static. 4, turning the thumb up. 5, palm back. 6, and I can push this hip out to the side. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then switch. Push, pull, rotate, drive in, push, squeeze, pull, rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome job.